10 years ago, I thought $20,000 would make me rich. Finally hit that number recently. You know what I realized? In 2026, 20K buys almost nothing. Can't even cover a down payment in most cities. Car dealership will show you the cheapest model without safety features. It's just paper that doesn't make you wealthy in the old sense. I was disappointed, but I kept saving anyway. 5 years later, looking back, everything changed the moment I crossed $20,000. Today, I'm breaking down 8 reasons why this supposedly useless 20K is the most important financial milestone of your life. No budget spreadsheets. No save $100 a day lectures. Just 8 things I only understood after hitting that number. By the end, you'll know why 20,000 isn't just a challenge, it's a necessity. Here's what standard advice tells you. Save $1,000 for emergencies, then pay off debt. Then build 6 months of expenses. Sounds responsible, but $1,000 doesn't cover emergencies anymore. Car repair, $500 to $2,000. Emergency room with insurance, $1,000 to $3,000. Laptop dies, $800 minimum. That emergency fund covers one problem maybe, then you're back to zero. Meanwhile, everyone says chase $1 million for retirement. So far away, most people quit before 10K. There's a number between emergency fund and retirement that actually matters. $20,000. Not $1 million, not 6 figures, just 20K. The psychological shift at this threshold is bigger than the money itself. There was a survey, I think, from 2023 that found something like 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Average savings under $5,000? We're told to chase $1 million while stuck in survival mode. $20,000 is where survival mode ends and opportunity mode begins. First reason, you create your own pension fund. Be honest. The retirement system you're imagining won't exist how you think. Demographics are shifting. Fewer workers, more retirees. Social Security is cracking. Rules change mid-game. Retirement age goes up. Benefits get recalculated. Relying on systems you don't control is a mistake. $20,000 at around 10% returns generates somewhere between $1,600 and $2,000 a year. After tax, about $1,300 to $1,600 annually. I looked this up recently. Average Social Security is around $1,827 per month. You need 35 years of work and wait until 67. Your 20K creates 9% of that government income, but you did it yourself, decades early. Plus, you still control the principal. Social Security might change rules. Your 20K is yours. Passive income means money makes money while you sleep. In reality, it means your phone bill gets paid by investments, not your paycheck. 20K at 10% is, let me do the math, about $2,000 a year. That's $166 monthly. After 20% tax, $133 a month. Not impressive, right? But it's your phone bill. Every month. Forever. Or car insurance paid by capital. Or 3 months of groceries appearing from nowhere. The amount isn't the point. The point is, income that exists whether you work or not. Whether your boss likes you or not. Whether the company has a good quarter or not. This is mathematics, not labor. I thought passive income meant quitting my job for a beach. Turns out it means my phone bill pays itself. Less sexy, way more useful. And that 133 becomes 147 next year as capital grows. Then 162, you didn't do anything. It just compounds. Compare that to Social Security, where politicians vote to change your benefits whenever they want. Second reason, your capital pays you a 13th salary. Corporate bonuses are a lottery. Company misses targets, no bonus. Your boss has a bad day, no bonus. You crushed your goals, but the economy tanked, still no bonus. Let's say you get 12% returns. That's aggressive, and some years you will, some years you won't. But at 12%, 20K generates about $2,400 annually. If you make 60K a year, that's a 4% bonus. Every year. Guaranteed. Not dependent on company performance. Not dependent on your manager's mood. Not dependent on Mercury being in retrograde. Your capital doesn't care about office politics. It just does math. Corporate bonuses might be 5 to 10% if everything aligns perfectly, but they only show up when the stars align. Your invested 20K pays 4% whether you get promoted or not, whether you switch jobs or not, whether you had a great year or terrible year. That's $200 a month from capital instead of labor. Some months, it's your electric bill. Other months, groceries. Sometimes, just breathing room. The point isn't life-changing money. The point is you paying you not your employer. My 401k never asked me to work weekends. Best boss ever. But passive income isn't the most important thing 20k gives you. Not even close. Third reason, readiness. The real tragedy isn't that people never see opportunities. They see them constantly. They just can't afford to take them. There's a formula. Success equals opportunity plus readiness. Both required. Most people have at least a few moments where they could change their financial situation. Problem is, opportunities have short shelf lives. They won't wait 6 months while you save. They need you to move now. If you have $0, you cannot move. I'm talking purely financial readiness, not psychology. Want to quit corporate and learn coding? Want to move to a better job market? Start a service business? Any move requires upfront money. Real numbers. Coding bootcamp costs $12,000. 3 months living expenses while learning $9,000. Total $21,000. You have $3,000 saved. Can't do it. Opportunity passes. Someone else takes it. Relocating to better opportunities. Moving costs $3,000. First month plus, deposit $4,000. 2 months buffer while job hunting $10,000. Total $17,000. Don't have it, you stay stuck. Starting a service business, LLC, and legal, $1,500. Equipment, $4,000. 3 months runway, $10,000. Marketing, $2,000. Total $17,500. See the pattern, every meaningful opportunity costs $15,000 to $21,000 to pursue. 20k is the exact amount that transforms I wish I could into I'm starting Monday. Without that cushion, you watch opportunities disappear because you can't afford yes. One more that's personal. You're in a soul-crushing job. Toxic boss, terrible culture. Want to quit and properly job hunt instead of jumping to the first offer just to escape. 3 to 4 months expenses at $5k monthly is $20,000. Without it, you're trapped. You take the first job that'll have you, even if it's equally bad. This is zero readiness. I stayed in a job I hated for 18 months with $800 saved. Better opportunity came up. Different company, better role, more growth. Needed 2 weeks notice, relocation, slightly lower starting salary during training. Total cost, $15,000. I had $800, so I stayed. Watched someone else take that position. Watched them grow while I stagnated. That's the cost of zero readiness. And honestly, that experience taught me the lesson wasn't work harder. The lesson was you need runway. You can't chase opportunities if you're still on the ground. Here's what makes me angry. We tell people, bet on yourself. Take risks. Chase opportunities. But nobody mentions opportunities cost money. Every pivot requires capital up front. When someone without savings hears bet on yourself, they're actually being told have money you don't have. It's not inspirational. It's ignoring reality. $20,000 gives you what motivation can't provide. Financial ability to actually move when opportunity knocks. This threshold matters more than any other milestone. Not about feeling rich, about being ready. Fourth reason, security. Look, I'd say most of what we call life tragedies are really just unexpected expenses. Transmission dies, emergency root canal, neighbors flood your apartment, family member gets sick. For someone with zero savings, any of this is catastrophe. Panic, stress, credit card at 24%, predatory loan, sleepless nights figuring out which bill to skip. When you have 20k, the nature changes completely. It transforms catastrophe into a budget line item. Still annoying, still unwelcome, but not disaster. You're not spending weeks in fight or flight. You just handle it and move on. Real scenario. Transmission dies $5,000. For someone paycheck to paycheck, this is devastating. Probably can't get to work without a car. Might lose job. Can't afford 5k. Goes on credit card at 22%. Now paying $91 monthly in interest alone for years. Total cost by payoff, $7,000 or more. When you have 20k, it hurts. $5,000 hurts. But you pay it, still have $15k left. Annoyed for a week, then forget about it. That's the difference. But emergencies don't arrive politely one at a time. They cluster. Transmission dies $5k. Same month cracked tooth need emergency dental $2k. Same month company layoffs need 3 months expenses $15k. Total damage $22,000. Zero savings, this bankrupts you completely. Massive debt, worst job because couldn't be selective damage credit. 20k saved, you survive. Not comfortably, basically wipes you out. But you make it through. That's what 20k buys. Resilience. Ability to absorb multiple hits without going under. Your bank will happily loan you money for emergencies at 19% interest. Nothing says we care like charging desperate people 20% to borrow. That's customer service, but more valuable than fixed transmissions. What happens in your head when you know you can handle it? Fifth reason, the psychological shift. This is deeply personal. I believe financial stress is the worst long-term stress you can experience. It comes in two flavors. 1, can't afford necessities. Medicine, rent, food. 2, owing money you can't repay. Fear of losing reputation, relationships, self-worth. I've experienced both. Felt every emotion in that spectrum. It was terrible. That experience drove me to fix my finances years ago. There's a researcher named Sendil Mullainathan who wrote Scarcity. He studied what happens to your brain under financial stress. The findings research from Sendil Mullainathan found your IQ can drop by around 13 to 14 points, just from stress, equivalent to pulling an all-nighter, or being at legal drunk driving limit. When you have $0, you are physically, biologically incapable of making good long-term decisions. Not because you're stupid, because your brain's processing power is consumed by immediate crisis. He calls it scarcity mindset or tunnel vision. Actually, let me explain what that means. Technically, your cognitive bandwidth gets consumed by survival needs, leaving no capacity for complex decisions. In normal language, you can only see what's directly ahead. How to make rent this month. How to avoid overdraft fees. How to stretch $20 until Friday. Your brain cannot process anything beyond 72 hours. Can't think about investing. Can't think about career development. Can't think strategically. Pure survival mode. And survival mode makes you functionally stupider. When you have $0, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning and rational thinking, is essentially offline. All mental energy managing immediate crisis. This is why people in financial stress make irrational-looking decisions. Payday loans at 400%. Overdrafting for $35 fees to buy $15 of groceries. Carrying credit cards at 28%, while having cash in checking, earning 0. These aren't stupid decisions by stupid people. These are survival decisions by smart people whose brains are in crisis mode. I made every single mistake. Payday loan check. Weekly overdrafts, absolutely. Multiple cards at 24% had 3 at once. Not because I didn't understand math, because my brain was in survival mode. And survival mode makes you stupid. When you're in tunnel vision, you genuinely cannot see long-term consequences. Only the immediate problem. $20,000 doesn't make you wealthy, but it takes your brain out of survival mode. Suddenly, you think clearly. Your IQ comes back online. You can plan more than 3 days ahead. You evaluate opportunities rationally instead of desperately. You can say no to bad options because you have breathing room to wait for better ones. That mental clarity is worth more than the $20K itself. Here's what makes me angry. Banks profit enormously from your cognitive impairment. When you're in scarcity mode, you make terrible decisions. Payday loans. Constant overdrafts, high interest balances, predatory terms because you need money now and can't think clearly about long-term cost. They're not evil, just very good at profiting from desperation. Overdraft fees generate billions annually. It's brilliant. Morally questionable, but brilliant. Sixth reason, end of cheap status signaling. Who buys new iPhones on 3-year payment plans? I did, multiple times. Who finances use luxury cars they can't maintain? A lot of us do this when we're trying to look okay when we're not. Not because we're stupid. It's a survival response. When you have $0, you feel exposed, vulnerable. You cover that with brands, logos, status symbols, the sneakers, the bag, the car badge. Not to impress people. To not be found out. So the barista doesn't realize you're one paycheck from homelessness. Status purchases are emotional camouflage. Protection. When you have $20K, this need evaporates. You know you have resources. Your confidence stops coming from external validation, starts coming from internal security. You no longer need the world to think you're doing well, because you actually are. The math is hilarious once you see it. iPhone 16 Pro Max, $1,200 retail. Finance, 36 months, 33 monthly. You pay 3 years. Phone's obsolete in 18 months. By payoff worth $300. You spent $1,200 to rent the appearance of having $1,200, or used BMW for $30,000. Maintenance, $5,000 yearly. Insurance higher. Premium gas required. Extra $3,000 to $4,000 annually for 5 years. That's $15,000 to $20,000 in additional costs to park a logo in your driveway. When you have $20K saved, you realize you could buy 4 iPhones cash right now. But you won't, because 20K at around 10% generates roughly 2,000 yearly, enough to buy a new phone every year without touching principal. Why waste capital on depreciating assets when capital pays for phones indefinitely? You start wearing $20 shirts. Not because you're cheap, because confidence comes from your bank account, not the logo on your chest. People feel this difference. You stop trying to impress strangers. Stop caring what people think about your car or clothes. Stop needing external validation because you have internal security. Most expensive thing I own is my savings account. Everything else is just depreciating stuff. Weirdly, after crossing 20K and stopping status purchases, you often spend less than when you were broke. When you're poor, you signal you're not poor. When you have money, you don't need to signal anything. Financial stability is the ultimate flex. 7th reason. Exit the investment sandbox. Investing small amounts is boring. 2,000 at 10% is 200 profit. That's 3 dinners. Not life-changing. Not weekend-changing. Just a number that went up slightly. This is why people quit early or chase day trading and crypto. Slow compound growth on tiny amounts is painfully uninteresting. 20K changes this. Not because you're rich, because absolute amounts become meaningful. 20K at 10% is 2,000 profit. Not quit your job money, but meaningful. Real vacation. Used car. Meaningful next investment. Your brain understands this matters. Before I continue, this is not investment advice. Higher returns pretty much always mean higher risk. I've never seen an exception to this. You can lose everything. Most people should buy index funds and forget them. What I'm describing are options at 20K, not recommendations. Options. Under 20K, you're limited. Savings at 4%. Index funds at 8 to 10. Individual stocks, gambling. That's it. Tutorial level. 20K unlocks different possibilities. House hacking with FHA loan. Partner on rental property. Peer-to-peer lending across 200 loans. Small business, silent partnership. Equipment for service business. Some of these can potentially return 15 to 30%. Notice I said can, not will. They can also return 0. Higher returns almost always mean higher risk. Index funds at 8 to 10 work. They're diversified liquid, don't require active management. For most people, boring index funds are correct. I'm mostly in boring funds because I like sleeping, but it's nice knowing other options exist. 20K is where investing stops being theoretical, starts being practical. The sandbox opens. Whether you play in it is your choice. 8th reason. Social filter. When you hit 20K, your circle shifts. I need to be careful here. I'm not saying ditch friends or poor people are bad. That's not this. It's subtle. What changes is your energy and conversations you're capable of. When you have 0 savings, huge percentage of mental energy consumed by financial stress. Brain in survival mode. So conversations reflect that. Bills, debt, stress, complaining about money, not negative, just accurate to circumstances. When you have 20K brain exits, survival mode. Stop processing financial stress because stress decreased. Conversations naturally shift. Instead of complaining about bills, discussing investment strategies. Instead of venting about being broke, talking business ideas or opportunities. Not trying to be different, just what your brain has bandwidth for now. People still in survival mode need to process stress, healthy and normal. But you're not in that mode. Those conversations feel repetitive or draining because you're in different mental space. Meanwhile, people also building gravitate naturally. Not intentional, just happens. When opportunities requiring financial participation come up, you can actually say yes. Someone starting business needs investors at 5K each. 0 savings, that opportunity doesn't register as real. 20K saved, you can evaluate it. That access changes who you interact with. People constantly borrowing money naturally fade. Not because you're mean. Dynamic doesn't work anymore. People building things start appearing more frequently. You notice them because you relate to what they're doing. Financial stability changes energy you broadcast. People sense when you're not desperate, not stressed, not in crisis. That calm confidence is attractive. Makes people want to be around you. Makes them think of you when opportunities arise. Your network upgrades organically without trying. Different conversations with different people about different possibilities. Saving 20K is hard. 60K salary, saving 1K monthly. 20 months. Almost 2 years. 500 monthly. 40 months. Over 3 years. That's long. Life throws everything at you during those years. You'll want to quit multiple times. But if you're thinking this is impossible, hear this clearly. You are not failing. The system is failing you. Wages stagnant 40 years. Housing costs tripled. Healthcare insane. Student debt underwater. Game is rigged. But the system being broken doesn't mean you can't win anyway. Start with whatever you can sustain. 100 monthly, 50 monthly, 20 monthly. Amount doesn't matter as much as consistency. Your future self is waiting on the other side of 20,000. They're calmer, more confident, making better decisions, seeing opportunities invisible to you now. They're counting on the decision you make today. Start building, even if it's slow, even if it takes years. Because time passes anyway. You can arrive at year 3 with 20K and a different life, or arrive in exact same stress. Only difference is the decision you make today. Your future self is already thanking you. Trust me. See you in the next one.